Hello, thank you for joining us today. I'll be walking you through a high-level introduction to Skedulo and showcasing a high-level overview of our solution. Let's get started. For those of you that may be unfamiliar, Skedulo is a modern web and mobile application designed to schedule, manage, and optimize mobile work. We lower the costs of executing appointments in the field while helping many organizations provide exceptional customer service. We work with over 160 customers globally today, which translates to scheduling over 2.5 million on-time appointments. We're currently headquartered in San Francisco, California, with offices throughout Australia, London, and Vietnam. We're very proud and excited to share that we've been named a leader in G2 categories for workforce management and field service management. The organizations we work with span and represent a variety of different verticals and industries. For the purposes of our time today, we'll be focused on the not-for-profit sector. Here at Skedulo, we've been primarily focused on solving one particular problem, and that is eliminating manual scheduling processes and disconnected systems that create a ton of complexity for many of the organizations we work with. These manual scheduling processes and many disconnected systems impact downstream teams. For many of our customers in the not-for-profit sector, these challenges are much more meaningful. We understand you run your operations with lean teams and very limited and specific funding. These complexities definitely impact the employees on the front line and your volunteers, often making it really challenging for them to deliver the service that are so needed in the communities that you serve. This often leaves them disengaged and frustrated, leading to high turnover. This also specifically impacts the way that you run and scale your operation. These complexities sometimes slow that progress and even block your growth. Lastly, these complexities are felt by the constituents you serve, sometimes leading to negative service, disorganized service, leaving your constituents unengaged, and sometimes even leading to lost donations. At the center of that problem, we have found that there are four main key stakeholders. First and foremost, your frontline employees and your volunteers. These are your employees at your home office, in the back office. These are your volunteers on the front line servicing the events that you deliver to our communities. Basically the folks that are the frontline representation of your organization's mission. Next, we have the schedulers. These are the folks in the home office making sure that all of the events, all of the service events as well, are fully scheduled and staffed. These are the folks managing the operation, making sure you have enough volunteers for each of the events on the calendar this month. Then we have the business owners. These are many of you on this call today. Many of you are program heads, fundraising heads. Some of you may even be CEOs of these incredible organizations. We know that you really require a holistic view to manage the operation, but also to be able to gain and extract insights to help make strategic decisions and optimize growth that actually translate to real funding and grants to maintain the businesses that you run. Last but not least are your constituents. These are the folks benefiting from the services in the communities that you serve. These are the folks that are basically the reason why we do what we do every day. Here at Skedulo, we've really tried to solve for that overarching problem while being incredibly mindful of the four stakeholders on this slide. What that has led us to is to build a thoughtful solution, hyper-focused on solving these particular complexities for not-for-profit organizations. I'll show you in a minute, but our solution is equal parts web application and mobile application. Our platform runs on your data, so we need the information in your Excel spreadsheets. We need information from your learning management systems, so we integrate with them. We need your data to best build a solution that aligns very closely to the way that you run your operation, deliver the services to your constituents. Once we load all of that rich data, and again, we can pull that from spreadsheets, Word documents, third-party technology systems, we build and allow you to use our intelligence engine. Our intelligence engine helps those schedulers manage the events, the services in the communities, and we allow them to very easily, in a matter of minutes, match the right resources, need they be employees or volunteers, that have skills that might be necessary for those particular events or services, and we match those in minutes, allowing your schedulers to do that quickly and do other things in their day, not just schedule. Additionally, we allow your frontline employees and your volunteers, basically any of those resources that are going to fulfill those services or those particular events, we allow them to do that seamlessly and intuitively through a mobile application. We allow them to check in and check out. We allow the scheduler, again, who is setting the schedule for those events and dispatching those resources out, we allow the volunteer in this example to communicate with the scheduler through SMS, through text messages, through push notifications in the application. Our entire goal is to make sure the scheduler at the home office is connected to the volunteer in the field in this example, and we make sure that that volunteer has everything he or she needs to do successfully at the event in the palm of her hand in the mobile app. Then we offer Skedulo Analytics. This is our analytics platform that sole purpose is to provide insights for you as business owners to extract from, learn from, be nimble with, and make adjustments to the operation, understand which volunteers are logging more hours than others quite easily. We basically want to allow you a single lens to view the operation in its entirety. With that data, we then move to the extension capabilities in our platform. As you grow, as you innovate, as you expand to provide services to other communities, the platform expands with you and grows with you. So we talked about the problem, we talked about the 4 stakeholders we think about, and we've talked a little bit about Skedulo's solution. So how about I show you that solution? We're going to have 2 experiences today. We're going to be in the web application, which is where your schedulers are going to be matching the events and the service needs in the community with your frontline employees and your volunteers. They're going to be able to see availability. They're going to be able to match the resource to the event in what typically may take hours or even half days in a matter of minutes, and I'll show you that live. We'll also show you the resource experience, which is the mobile application. You'll see the real-time connection between what's happening at the home office and what's happening in the field. You'll see some places where we can add notes, where we can actually access tasks and reminders about the things we need to do once we get on site. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and show you the experience. So here's our web application, and there's quite a bit of info, so I'd love to orient you quickly in a couple of seconds. So you'll notice that this blue bar at the top, think of this as additional administrative filters and functionality. What's most important is right underneath is you'll see that we're in the San Diego region. So this application, the web console specifically, can be tailored to regions, cities, anything in any way that your scheduler needs to be able to manage the operation he or she is responsible for. On the far left, you'll see basically a waterfall status update queue. What you'll see is there's 6 events we need to schedule, and once we match them with the resource, you'll see them move into the funnel here, all the way down to when someone's traveling to get on site at that event, once they're on site, once the event's in progress, all the way to when it's completed. Then you'll see a summary of these particular jobs, is what we refer to them here as Skedulo, but these are basically any volunteer event, any service event, any appointment that you would need to get completed on behalf of your constituents. These jobs might require a specific type of resource with specific criteria to complete that particular training event or volunteer event. And so these jobs, think about them as mini summaries of all the appointments and services you complete today in communities you serve. Then we see these resources. So you'll see that there's few volunteers and there's one trainer. You'll see that they have various credentials and various skills. We use those skills and tags to match them to these particular events or jobs that have these specific requirements for a very specific type of resource. So it could be as simple as anybody in the geographic location who speaks Spanish can go. It could be even more specific, like we actually need a trainer to do the training events versus a volunteer. Last but not least, you'll see a calendar view. So we're in a day view, but you can actually move to a multi-day view, a week view, and a month view. This is basically the time period for which the scheduler is going to schedule. So without further ado, I'm going to show you a little bit about our intelligence engine, which I talked briefly about before. So as the scheduler, I can select all of the jobs or the events that I need to schedule. I ask the optimization engine to get ready to run, and I can even layer on additional business logic. Right now, we're making sure that we balance the workload. So what that means is, in addition to matching the right skills with the right type of event, I also want to make sure that all of our volunteers that are on the roster today have an equal distribution of volunteer opportunities, for example. I ask the optimization engine to run, and it's going to go ahead and in a matter of seconds, as you see here, it's going to match the resources, the trainers and volunteers, to the particular event or training opportunity or volunteer opportunity. You'll even see we go so far as showcasing Lisa, our trainer's location in relation to the volunteer site we want to send her to. The reason that matters is we can even go so far as recommending the most efficient travel route so that Lisa gets there on time. You'll notice that the optimization engine made some really nice suggestions for us. It looks like Lisa, our trainer, has 2 training events, which is great. Some of our volunteers have 4-hour blood drive events they need to go to. As a scheduler, I could rearrange things. I could move things later or earlier, depending on any tribal knowledge I might have or any real-time information that might be coming in my way. But if this looks great, I'm going to go ahead and save. You'll notice that those 6 events just moved to pending dispatch. If we click here, I can actually click all of them and notify all of our volunteers and trainers that they have something on their agenda for the day. So you'll notice that I've communicated with some through text and others through push notification. That's right, we can actually accommodate the communication preference of the resource. Let's switch gears just a little bit and let's see here. So what I just showed you was an example of quite a few events, like a volunteer event or a training event, that I needed to schedule. What if we already had an event scheduled and we had a last-minute cancellation? We know this sometimes often happens as you have volunteers that either say that they're available to, service an event like a blood drive, and then they have a last-minute cancellation because their child's home sick from school. This volunteer event, which is the blood drive, is an example of that. So it's for Wednesday the 15th. We had a cancellation by a volunteer. What we allow the scheduler to do is offer that shift or that blood drive event to another volunteer that might be available. We take the same logic into consideration, such as skills and obviously availability. So you'll notice here that for Wednesday, we have 6 available volunteers that might be able to help with that event. So what we can do is send a message to all of those that seem free, and the first to respond or to claim that opportunity to serve at the blood drive can be confirmed and locked in, which is great because then you rest assured that that vacancy is now filled and the event will go off without a hitch. So here's a scheduler. I'm going to blast each of these resources and give them the opportunity to claim that particular blood drive event. We'll go in and see what that looks like a bit later. So I'm going to go ahead and shift gears and show you the mobile application. So you'll notice here, I have a push notification on my mobile device. I'm going to click in, it's actually going to take me to the app. So today we're following Lisa, who's one of our trainers. We're following her around today. You'll notice that she can see her daily shift, she can see her week schedule, and she can see her monthly schedule. You can also see a new alert came through. That's the new job offer. So remember, there was a volunteer that could no longer come on Wednesday. Her child is sick. And so as the scheduler, they offered that opportunity out to 6 other potential volunteers. And so that was the alert that Lisa just got. It's called a job offer. So you'll notice that we can click in and see what that job offer looks like in a second. So here we were in the agenda on the far bottom left corner, which we saw that Lisa has a couple of events on the 13th and 14th, and there's that job offer. So Lisa can either claim to help at the blood drive on the other day she wasn't originally scheduled to help, and when she does that, she claims that job and the alert goes back to the scheduler, so the scheduler can rest assured that that blood drive is now going to be staffed and Lisa's going to help. Lisa can also see a variety of messages here. So remember I mentioned that the scheduler can message Lisa and Lisa can message the scheduler to make sure that the home office is connected to what's happening in the field. This is where those messages would surface. Additionally, Lisa can receive reminders and notifications in addition to doing a few other things in the app, which we'll close with. But without further ado, I'd love for us to pop in to see what one of the training events looks like for Lisa, who's one of our trainers. If we pop in to the 14th, Lisa can see that there's a training event specifically for what to do for a donation event. So this is where constituents would join Lisa for the training and they would learn everything necessary to be able to staff a blood drive, for example. Lisa's going to go ahead and confirm that she's ready to roll for this training event. If she needed help navigating to the volunteer or the training site, she could plug into her navigation apps, but in this case she's familiar, so she's just going to skip it. Lisa's then going to go ahead and check in and tell us she's on her way. Once she does that and she gets there, she simply just checks in and starts the actual training session. You'll notice a couple of things. You'll notice there's a timestamp. We are also able to track the route Lisa traveled if you do need to do things like reimburse for travel and expenses. But these timestamps are important because it allows us to validate the number of hours volunteered, the number of hours worked, and that data is shared back with the business owners, such as payroll and finance, for example. While she's on site, if there's a particular contact, she can see the phone number there. She can also see some reminders. So you'll see here that we're basically reminding Lisa of her training program. She needs to review an overview of why blood donation even happens. She needs to go ahead and train about how to be a greeter and where to take folks after they register, basically walking them through to the sites where the nurses are and sending them to the waiting room. Things like giving snacks. So if folks are encouraged to have juice or a snack, how to go about finding those snacks and goodies, calling it, being a good blood drive barista. Basically think about these tasks as reminders of things Lisa needs to cover while she's doing the training. And once she completes those, she can actually check them off her list. And there's a bunch of other things we allow her to do in the app. So once she's completed that particular training, and she can obtain signatures and take photographs that actually load at the event and training itself. But for the purposes of Lisa's time today, she's going to leave a note that says volunteers ready to go. And she saves that, and that job is now completed. Additionally, as a trainer, Lisa can go ahead and submit her availability. This then feeds directly to the scheduler. The scheduler can approve Lisa's availability, and that will lock Lisa in on the roster for the coming weeks. Additionally, if Lisa wanted to ask for time off, she can do that directly in the app. It sends a similar notification to the scheduler, and the scheduler can accept or decline that unavailability request. We also allow Lisa to do things like submit her timesheets, all within the palm of her hand as well. So that was a quick tutorial of our application, and we hope that you enjoyed what you saw today. We invite you to go to our website and see what our awesome customers have to say about some of the solutions we've built for them. Please visit us at skedulo.com, and thank you so much for joining us today.